China's abuse of non-compete clauses is killing its economy. NCCs must not become legal bludgeons against workers that insulate corporations from healthy competition or retain workers through coercion. 3. 2. Save. Print. China's abuse of non-compete clauses is killing its economy. People attended job fair in Shenyang in northeastern Liaoning Province, China, on October 22, 2024, STR/AFP via Getty Images. Miles Pollard, and Hope Danzer. 2/4/2026. Updated on 2/4/2026. Commentary. Though often overlooked, the misuse of non-compete clauses can severely curtail economic activity. Consider China. What was once a limited tool to protect intellectual property among skilled workers and corporate executives has become a labor market straitjacket in that country. NCCs have stifled mobility, suppressed entrepreneurship, and amplified unemployment across the Chinese workforce, conditions that other countries would be wise to avoid. As of July 2025, China's youth unemployment rate stood at 17.8%, nearly double the U.S. rate. Feeling this tension in the job market, many Chinese college graduates note that having academic qualifications is the bare minimum needed for job searchers, not an advantage, according to a 2023 report from online recruitment platform Zappin, as cited by the Washington Post. Platforms like China Admissions now advise students to pursue a master's degree to successfully land a job after college. But the real bottleneck in the Chinese job market is structural. Both experienced applicants and new hires are being boxed out by NCCs that serve corporate control rather than innovation. For example, Chinese NCCs may legally last up to 2 years, during which employees are barred from working for competing companies or starting a competing business. If employees are unable to find a new position that complies with the NCC within the 2-year period, the company is required to pay only 30% of their salary each month for the duration of the 2-year period. However, there are myriad instances where the NCCs are so vague in their restrictions that they prevent most gainful employment and so dense in their legal jargon that workers are unfairly penalized for shifting their careers. This results in low-skilled and mid-level workers being sidelined, undercompensated, and blocked from contributing more meaningfully to the economy. Originally intended to safeguard trade secrets among senior leadership, China's NCCs now routinely ensnare average workers who have limited to no access to confidential information. When imposed across all levels of employment, such clauses damage society by trapping workers in careers, restricting mobility, and stifling consumer spending. While a reasonable clause for upper-level executives and high-skilled workers, Chinese NCCs have become weaponized by allowing frivolous lawsuits to impede former workers. In most countries, NCCs allow employers to hire riskier employees who could learn a skill set or proprietary information that could undercut the competition. In many cases, it may make sense for a plumber's apprentice, car mechanic, or senior design engineer to sign an NCC that prevents them from leaving after a year and starting their own business within the same county or leaving for a regional competitor that pays slightly more but doesn't pay for training. However, 58% of Chinese companies often require opaque NCCs, which has perpetuated a predatory culture of punishing any worker who leaves for any reason. Take, for instance, Li, a former masseuse, was sued by her previous employer for 50,000 yuan or $7,000 after working at a Chinese pharmacy because they deemed that occupation similar enough to warrant legal action. Other such cases include a security guard being sued by his former employer for 200,000 yuan or $28,000 for simply working as a security guard at another company. Another instance involves a chef who faced a similar claim of nearly 100,000 yuan or $14,000 for allegedly violating their NCCs. A study at Wuhan University found that among the 454 NCC-related court rulings, only 21% involved senior managers, whereas the remainder involved average workers. NCCs imposed upon the average worker trickles down into a hurting economy, where rising exports alongside weak domestic consumption expose that China's economy is far from healthy. This exposes China to a state of global economic volatility, trade tensions, and protectionism risks, reducing the country's insulation against external shocks and worldwide downturns. NCCs should protect trade secrets, not trap ordinary workers. When misused, they stifle careers, innovation, and economic growth, as China experienced. NCCs must not become legal bludgeons against workers that insulate corporations from healthy competition or retain workers through coercion. By limiting NCCs to properly delimited circumstances, countries can preserve innovation while restoring agency to their workers. When workers are free to move, create, and pursue their dreams through serving others in a competitive market, society prospers. China offers a cautionary tale that others should be keen not to follow. Views expressed in this article are opinions of the author and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Epoch Times. If you enjoyed this article, consider our invitation below. The Epoch Times is fully independent and funded by readers, so we're only accountable to you. We deliver principled, objective reporting that respects your intelligence and strengthens your understanding. The Epoch Times serves you with fact-based, in-depth journalism crafted by seasoned reporters and editors. Anchored in truth and tradition, we deliver reporting that reflects reality, not rhetoric, so you can see the world clearly and think for yourself. That's why we're inviting you to a limited-time introductory offer, just $1 per week for 1 year, so you can experience the clarity and insight millions already rely on. Get my offer. Limited time only. Cancel anytime.